welcome back, everybody, for a third time today. I'm John.
I'm Joe. We're for Hot and Cold, and today we're here to review Spotlight, although I did not see it.
He did not. Who was it directed by?
I don't remember.
Timothy McCarthy?
I'm not going to say
Tom?
that and not be it.
I think it was.
Tom McCarthy.
Tom McCarthy, close enough.
Directed by Tom McCarthy.
Starring Michael Keaton, Mark Ruffalo, and Rachel McAdams.
Isn't there one more person? I think there was one more person.
No, those were like the three main people. Everyone else was kind of like secondary.
Alright, brief description. What is this movie about?
Alright, basically what happens is there's this team, Spotlight. They're part of...
They're actually called Spotlight?
Well, their like little section of this newspaper company is called Spotlight. And they pretty much, you know, they go after big stories, and they're the ones that they're supposed to take their time, really collect the facts on it, things like that. So they get a tip about this priest who was diddling little kids, and the more they looked into it, the bigger scope they found of this situation. And granted, this all takes place back in the early 2000s. You know, it based on a true story. So when the whole thing of, you know, the priest molesting kids, you know, came out globally and widespread across America, this was the movie that pretty much is telling the story of where that all came from. I'm gonna get right into it. Mark Ruffalo was awesome. He killed it. Michael Keaton, he did great too. I just fucking hate the Boston accent so much. It's like so...
He hates Boston.
It's
He's
so
not a fan of
disgusting to me. And, you know, as a New
Be
Yorker...
careful, because we probably have Boston watchers.
Fuck you, Boston, and fuck you if you're from Boston. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan, so I really, you know, Rangers, Knicks, I fucking hate you, Boston. Anyway, so, you know, just everything they're doing, you know, it really mapped out the whole situation of how they went about, you know, finding it out, and, you know, showing the reluctance of the newspaper and how much power the church really had, you know, in a, you know, mostly predominantly Catholic city, which is kind of weird. You know, you think about the whole fucking separation of state and religion in this fucking country, but for some reason we just can't get a fucking grasp on that shit.
How's the payoff?
Pretty sad. The payoff was great. You know, they're taking you on this fucking roller coaster ride, you know, and, you know, some parts are kind of, you know, you really get low with them because you're hearing all this fucked up shit, you know. There's this one scene that I could really think of where, you know, they're going over a list of people. Like, they get this list from these lawyers, and, you know, it's a list of, I think there's like 72 or like 87 names of priests in the area that, you know, have settled out of court in molestation cases. And this guy's he's at home and he's looking through these names. What are you mouthing over there?
72.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot.
And yeah, that's a small number in just the city of Boston.
Yeah,
like
that's why I'm like, holy shit.
That
that's
was
a lot.
that was not was it? That was like 9% or something like that. I think there's like 1,500 priests in the greater Boston area, and like that was like a 9% of the priests that this guy calculated. But so this guy's going through his papers, and he sees this name and with an address. So he like it clicks in his head. He circles the name, whatever he does. You see him walk outside. He starts walking a couple.
Do not spoil anything.
I'm not spoiling anything. He just walks down the street, and he's staring at this house, and like you can kind of like understand like what he's looking at, and then he like runs home, you know, snaps a picture of the fucking house, goes back to his house. He's like, puts a thing on the fridge of the house with a little note saying, "Don't go to this fucking house. You know, avoid this house."
He got raped, didn't he?
No, he didn't get raped, but he's leaving a note for his fucking 2 children to like steer clear of this house because this is like an old like priest. You know, but it's just crazy the way that, you know, everything unfolded and just how much power the church really had, and it was just portrayed so great. You know, Michael Keaton, you know, he's technically he's an editor, but he's like the head of Spotlight, and he's almost really reluctant to like he's like trying to go through with it, but he's like, you know, he's trying to be real careful about it. Mark Ruffalo's like, you know, he's like, I want to know what's going on. You know,
He
this
doesn't
is,
care. He wants to get the truth
yeah,
out
yeah.
there.
He wants to get to the story and
Music.
it was eerie. It was definitely eerie. You know, just because anytime you have something that involves, you know, the church, you know, things like that, and like bad shit like this, you know, it's usually eerie. The acting itself was just, you know, far and away, you know, the best part about the movie, and the storytelling, you know, too was great. They really, you know, they really showed you everything you needed to know. I loved it. You know,
Overall.
I would give it a burning. I think you would really, I think you would enjoy it, but I think there are going to be times that it will probably be a little, like there's really not much going on, you know, in the sense of, you know, like how they're going about getting this information. You know, there's a lot of times where they're just sitting waiting for people to come into their office or,
I'm an
you know.
adrenaline junkie. I
yeah.
like movies that have exciting shit going on, so I tend to find movies that are a little slow, not unappreciative, because I can still appreciate a true story, but it just gets a little boring. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, so.
I'll see it. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely worth the watch. Especially, you know, if, you know, I like to learn something when I go see things like that, and that's definitely, you know, it definitely lets you, like, gives you an in-depth look at how everything started, and then, you know, in the end, you know, that, like, this doesn't give anything away, but like they just kind of, you know, after, like, when the credits are rolling, they just tell you about, like, you know, after that point, you know, up to this date, nationwide, or actually worldwide, the different places that, like, had reports of, you know, child molestation in the church.
What about here?
Yeah, here, everywhere, dude. Fucking all over the country, all over South America, dude. Everywhere.
Why I don't go to church.
It doesn't, you know. There's literally, and the worst part is the way the church was just going about it. It's like, you know, they knew, but they didn't do anything. You know,
they hid them, right?
Yeah, like what they would do is they would, like, take them out of circulation, or like they would just transfer them, you know, and basically give them a clean slate, you know, or they put them on leave for a couple months, and it's just really fucked up shit. Fuck the church. They're fucking people are pieces of shit.
Yep.
But yeah, I would definitely see this movie. It's fucking incredible.
All right, fair enough.
So, again, I'm John.
I'm Joe. We're from Hot and Cold, and stay tuned for more reviews.
Catch you later.